Pull the lever, Gronk. Wrong lever.
Ready? 3.
You just totally missed that reference. Come on.
What?
Hey.
So are we doing this every episode,
Yes.
bro? God
And
damn.
he just missed my Disney reference, and I'm a little upset about it.
Oh, what's this?
Pull the lever, Gronk.
Pull the lever, Gronk.
I'm not going to tell you. Someone's going to have to make the comment because
What the hell does that mean?
it's from a Disney movie.
Which movie?
I'm not telling you now
Why?
because I'm a little annoyed you don't know what it is.
Pull the lever, Gronk. That obviously has to be Shrek. Wait, Shrek's not Disney.
Disappointment. Oh, that's true too.
Wait, that's Pixar, I think.
Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor's New. Oh, okay. That's the Milan one, right?
Yeah. Sort of, not really.
Emperor's New Groove. I forget.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Turn him into a llama. The emperor.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. I swear I do.
Yeah.
Pull the lever, Gronk.
Okay. Anyway, hi. We're back.
Tell me you have kids without telling me you have kids.
That is from my childhood.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. My kids wouldn't like that. Although Asher's been like really into Moana 2.
What?
Moana 2.
What is that? Bro.
Do you know Moana? The movie Moana.
No, I do not.
The animated smash hit Moana featuring
Moana.
The Rock.
How do you spell that?
Moana.
Moana. Oh. The Rock's in it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He plays Maui. Yeah. Somebody lend this man a child.
I told you I'm 47, bro. I'm tapped out.
You got a niece now, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna have to learn all this stuff.
That's
man.
very true.
So you buy her the right toys. I'm gonna be showing up with like,
Oh
old
man.
Pixar crap.
Well, what's good, bro? Everything good? How's life?
Man, life's good.
Yeah?
I haven't been doing a whole lot. Now that I'm done all my weddings, but actually I've been doing a lot of album design.
Okay.
Which is sometimes a really easy process and sometimes not a really easy process, depending on if people like my first design or not.
Wait, what do you use for album design?
Been using Fundy Designer.
Fundy,
Fundy Designer.
So you can just like design and purchase through there?
So it's sort of a website that helps you do like the layout.
Oh.
So I have them select like favorites in their gallery and I take that and it just basically like I'll put the pictures where I want them as far as organization goes, and then it gives you options of how they're laid out. So I'll pick the ones that I think are the most, visually appealing, and then it creates a proof and goes to them, and they can either, this is cool and approve it, or it's like, hey, can we move this photo here, move this photo here? I don't like this.
So the clients get to be interactive with it.
Oh, 100%.
While you're also interactive at the same time.
So basically they will look at everything. It's not quite as advanced software as that. It's sort of like they'll look at it and they'll email me and say, hey, this photo on page 45, can we move it to this spread? Or, hey, I changed my mind, I don't want this photo, I want this photo, like that kind of stuff. So
nice.
It's sort of, I'd say most of the time it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
nice.
It's been doing that. Been like tweaking this podcast set a little bit.
Nice. Did you have your first wedding of the year yet?
We've had 2 already.
2?
Yeah.
Nice.
And they've been good. You did that one in New York that we already talked about.
Yeah.
Did you have one last weekend?
Last weekend. No, I didn't.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. I have a couple of weddings in April. I actually have 3 weddings in April.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then, that wedding in New York, I know we talked about it, but it was, I'm still like drooling over those images.
I need to see some more content from it because...
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good time.
Your day got crazy, right?
Yeah, man.
I think we have 1 or 2 in April, but then as soon as May hits, we're every weekend.
Oh, nice.
So...
Yeah, man. It's going to be a busy year. I'm excited, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25 is good. I still have people inquiring about 25.
Oh, yeah, bro. I literally just booked a wedding for July.
And I guess it's just a cyclical thing with wedding bookings. Like,
yeah.
Because I remember after COVID, and I feel like maybe even before COVID, like we were booked like 2 years out, like fully booked. And then, it starts to change over. And then I'm like texting all my other photographer and like, venue. We just went out with a friend of ours who is a coordinator at the Hort. And she was saying like, I'm like starting to freak out about 26 now. Because I'm like, hey, I feel like we have more weddings on the book usually for this.
But you know what the problem is, right?
What?
Between COVID and now, the influx of new wedding photographers into this industry is insane.
I didn't even think of that. That's true.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I met so many people who were like, just got going, like either right before COVID or, right after. I guess.
And those people too, I feel like are undercutting us. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there's so many new photographers that they're charging probably $1,500 to $2,000.
No, really?
Yeah, bro. How many times have you been ghosted this year? I feel like a lot of our photography friends and even other vendors have been ghosted a lot.
And the weird thing is that hasn't happened to us in a long time.
Same here.
And I don't think our prices are. I think our prices are probably similar.
Yeah,
and
standard.
We don't talk about these things. Yes, we do. I know how much you charge us. But and we have our pricing on our website. Like,
that's what blows my mind too. Is you see where my collections start.
Yeah.
But you still inquire and then you ghost me after an amazing call.
Or they fill out the contact form with like, what's your budget look like? And like literally right above that, it says what our packages start at.
Yeah.
And you can click a little button right there that shows all of our prices. And they start at a number. And then people come in with their budget like thousands of dollars lower. And I'm like,
I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I was like, I don't understand why you could put that as a budget. But at the same time, I still want you to reach out. Because maybe your wedding is, a special circumstance.
Sure.
Or like, hey, literally we're doing 3 hours in the backyard kind of thing. Like, so I'm eating my words right now. I'm eating my words right now.
No, but still, I mean,
yeah,
bro, I agree with you. But at the same time, like, I'm a firm believer that if I can somehow talk to someone on the phone and like, on FaceTime.
Oh, I feel. You
know what I mean? I feel like I can somehow persuade them that like, you're going to spend a lot of money, but you're going to have a great time and good experience with me.
And like, I think sometimes people are willing to pay more for that or like
100%.
feel more comfortable putting the money.
100%.
Actually, this is funny. So when we went out with Liv and Jay, Liv is the coordinator at the Hort. Jay's her husband. We actually shot their wedding. We've been hanging out with a lot of our past couples recently, which has been awesome. But we went to Agricola, which is Aaron from 13th Street Cocktails' new pizza spot, which is Agricola. Put the link in the description.
What the hell was that? Agricola.
It's so good, dude. I was like, I don't know why I expected anything different from Aaron because.
What kind of pizza was it?
So we got one called Meat Sweats.
Oh.
Which I'm sure Aaron made that just so you had to go up and say, "Can I have a meat sweat?"
What the fuck is in a meat sweat?
It was like
pepperoni.
It was like prosciutto, and there was like a little bit of honey on it. Oh, it was really good.
So all my pizza lovers out there, I wonder if you guys think Agricola or Pizza Padilla is better.
You know what? I haven't had Pizza Padilla yet.
Which is blasphemous.
And every time I bring up Agricola that I went there, they're like, well, Pizza Padilla. I'm like, I haven't been
because there's similar styles. Very similar. It was delicious.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah.
But, I meant to ask you about this.
Yeah.
This is totally random. So I'm not going to name any names because this person's work is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I saw a full gallery from a photographer recently. And there was some because all the photos that this person posts are gorgeous and all of like the highlights, all that stuff is so good. But I went through this gallery and like the first thing that was weird to me, it wasn't organized well. So I'm going through it and it's like getting
smorgasbord of photos.
Yeah. And it was just like,
interesting.
So there was some that I was just like, it was like getting ready. It was like details. Then some getting ready. Then like one random detail photo would pop up. And then like, it was just, so that wasn't organized, which.
Interesting.
I guess that's weird. But then also like I'd be randomly in like the portrait section and like a photo from the reception would like pop up.
Oh.
And I'm sort of like.
Did you actually take your time to organize these photos while you're putting it in the gallery?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, or like double checked it maybe.
Yeah.
Because like I do that. Maybe that's like an OCD thing.
Wait, do you use PicTime?
Yeah.
So shout out to PicTime. I don't know if you do this when you deliver your galleries, but I usually will label them like number one. I'll be like 1 dot details, and I'll be 2 bridal prep, 3 groom prep, first look. I literally will organize it like that.
So I used to do that, but I recently started. So I do all of that in Lightroom now.
Yeah.
Just
Because you have the pick time integration.
right. But I actually don't separate them within pick time. Like I deliver the whole thing as the wedding day because there's some sections that I will, it sort of depends on what happened in the day. Like sometimes I'll organize like all the details, then the bride getting ready, then the groom getting ready, then first look.
Sure.
But sometimes like from a storytelling perspective, it makes sense to sort of combine the bride getting ready and the groom getting ready, like in real time. Like the bride was like, if it works out that both of them were sort of getting dressed at the same time, I kind of like to integrate them because it's like while you were doing this, he was doing this.
So I wonder, like, do your clients ever give feedback on that? Because my clients typically like how I organize it. But I wonder if, like you said, putting it more as a storytelling kind of vibe.
I look at it more like a storyboard.
And I'm curious what other photographers do too.
Yeah, and when you look at a storyboard, when two things are happening simultaneously in like a film, you're kind of cutting back and forth. Like I'm thinking if the bride and groom were getting ready in like, a movie or a film, I don't think you would watch one of them get ready and then watch the other one get ready. But it's like going back in time to see the other one getting ready. I feel like you would be cutting back and forth in real time. Like this is what this person's doing while this is doing.
Which actually brings up a good point. So when you like deal with like your clients, right? There's going to be sometimes situations where they're unhappy or, there's pictures that they didn't like, or even maybe on the wedding day, you might have like unconsciously like did something that might have upset them. So like, how do you like typically deal with, issues that clients have? And then maybe we can compare and see how we deal with it both.
Yeah. What's funny is like, luckily these sort of things happen so few and far between.
Yeah.
It's like out of the hundreds and hundreds of couples that we've photographed, I can think of 4 that came back with negative feedback or unhappy. And I will totally admit that as soon as I see that email or whatever it is,
my heart drops.
I take it so personally.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I wish I could like take a step back, but it's sort of in the creative field that we're in, it's very much like this person saying, I don't like what you did.
Not only that, this is your business. This is your livelihood, which to me, it blows my mind sometimes how like people can like scam clients. They can treat people a certain way. It's like, it's like your name is all you got. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you tarnish your name, especially on the internet, bro, it's over.
Yeah.
One bad review could destroy your business.
I know. And it's like,
it's crazy.
I fortunately, none of these experiences ever resulted in a bad review. And that's
good.
And that's partially because of, what are you willing to do to make it right for that client?
You know what? I'm glad you said that. I have one bad review on Google.
Oh, really?
And it's actually insanity. So this person was definitely either being like spiteful or...
Was this actually a client of you?
No.
Okay, that's right.
I've never worked with this person. They simply wanted to inquire about my services. And
this is making me nervous. I have to drink.
Throughout the entire conversation of us trying to plan a time for us to meet, I just decided that I no longer wanted to work with this person because the energy was off, the vibe was off.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then she went and she left a nasty review on my Google. And I had responded to it. And I said, all of these accusations are incorrect and false.
Have you tried to get that taken down? Because I think if
I should.
I think if they weren't technically your client and they didn't
Never
use your
worked with
services,
them.
they can't
leave a review like that.
Or they can do whatever they want.
Well,
but
sure.
I think Google would probably take that down.
Yeah, I'm going to try to take it down because it was insane.
Yeah. But, I think that, again, it's sort of whenever that has happened in the past, the first thing I look at after I get over, like, fuck you. What do you mean you don't like my work? Because that's always my first reaction. Like, no matter what it is, I'm just kind of like, go fuck yourself, And the other thing is like...
And Simon means that in the most loving way, by the way.
I usually don't at that point. I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean? But there's a couple of factors in there. Like one, how did they go about leaving this feedback for you?
Sure.
I really feel like things can get misconstrued via written word, email, text, I'm always the kind of person who wants to hop on a phone call.
Yeah.
So like if you're unhappy with some aspect of your day, whatever happened,
Sure.
hey, let's talk. Like what we were saying before about like
Yeah.
getting on FaceTime. Like as soon as I just want to be able to talk to you.
Wait, when you go into this call though, are you thinking of the old adage, customers are always right?
Absolutely not.
Interesting.
I am there. I am thinking I am there to educate. And actually, this is a good point too, because
Okay.
I think that what I said first was how they go about telling you, but also, are they correct? Are they overreacting? There's so many things that could cause a client to be unhappy.
Of course.
That have nothing to do with you or your work.
Absolutely.
And they need to put that somewhere. Sometimes it's you as the photographer.
Sure.
Which is, I get it. I totally get it. So I go in thinking, I'll be the first to admit, one of those people who reached out and was unhappy was probably, this was early on in our career. I don't think it was necessarily our fault with how the photos looked or how they turned out or anything. I think we did not properly educate this couple on what we do.
Okay, so because I think like for me, I try my best to explain throughout multiple conversations through FaceTime, over the phone, like explaining my style, how I work.
Yep.
Did you not get a chance to explain that to them?
We did. I think that this couple, and they were a young couple, very young couple.
Like how young?
And they're
Like 24.
yeah.
Okay.
And parents were heavily involved. I think also
Red flag.
but I think in this situation, we take every phone call, every couple uniquely, if that makes sense.
Okay.
In this situation, that was, it wasn't ideal, but it wasn't like a super big red flag. It's like this couple was really, really young and they wanted to get married and their parents supported it. And it was like, okay, cool.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, and I think that, the parents sort of came from a different generation of getting married and having your photos taken.
Yeah, that's funny.
And long story short, what ended up happening was, we got on that phone call that they were unhappy. They had a laundry list of things they didn't like, and the bride was in tears. Like
what?
Yeah, and I felt terrible. And
what was like one thing?
so it was the color correction. They
They
basically
didn't like how you edited the photos?
Yeah,
Okay. But you did an engagement session with them, right?
So we didn't. Well, we did, and we edited it that way. However, one of our associates did the session, and it was a newer associate, and there was a lot of look at the camera and smile.
Okay.
A lot of look at the camera and smile.
Okay.
And that was one thing they were, and honestly, like, that was not a priority for us. We got a few of those like we usually do, but it wasn't. So they were unhappy with that, which I get that. Their posing in the engagement session was different than
The actual wedding day.
right. However, when we did it on the wedding day, I was like, I'm happy we're getting to do this because it's, what we would normally do, which was a little different than the engagement session with our associate.
And they liked how it was happening on the wedding day, right?
Yeah, they were fine. And
Interesting.
but like, there was a big thing like the plants at the church, that's not what they looked like.
What does that mean?
They were green plants. You know how color green goes.
Oh, they're saying like when you edited the plants, it didn't look how it looked in real life.
And granted, I think
Interesting.
at this point in our careers, this was very early on. Like my edit was a little more heavy-handed.
Okay.
But I didn't look at those pictures and go, these look bad. Like I really liked how everything came out, but they had a different expectation. So long and the short of it,
Simon's favorite saying.
after I've already done like the long part of it. But yeah, and so in that instance, we sort of, I felt terrible. I don't think we did anything wrong in the situation of how we shot it, how we approached it.
Nah,
but
Simon, you fucked up.
I think we missed an opportunity to educate and how
Who? Educate the client or
educate the
associate?
client beforehand.
Okay.
So when I went into that call, obviously I wanted to be able to help and see what I could do to help. I was not going to re-edit the whole gallery because
Oh, so she complained about the whole gallery.
the whole gallery. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
But again, that's confusing because you edited the engagement session.
correct.
Which I'm assuming is similar to how you would edit the
It
wedding.
was exactly the same.
So why didn't she say anything about the engagement session?
I think there was some underlying things that had nothing to do with me,
Oh, okay.
which seems to be the case for some of these.
Okay.
But long story short, I told her I didn't feel comfortable re-editing the gallery because that's not representing our work. So I did use that opportunity to sort of explain that to them. But their, sort of argument to that was,
Wait, what did you explain to them?
I said that I think that your wedding and the work we did at your wedding very much reflects the rest of our portfolio that you've seen.
But don't you have something in your contract? Because at least I do, where I explicitly tell my clients that, like, there's like an artistic section in there that says, okay, so basically like, hey, you're hiring me for my artistic eye and how I like to edit and how I like to do
and
things.
this was never something like we want our money back.
No, I don't. Yeah.
And like contractually, I could easily just say like, well, there's a section in our contract. I don't have to
do anything.
I have to do anything.
Sure.
But
so the customer is always right. You see what I'm saying?
Not really. I mean,
how?
Because I don't think you're right, and I don't have to do anything about it.
So if you didn't think she was right, you would have never entertained it.
No, it's not that I did not think she was right. I think that her gallery reflected all of the other work she had ever seen from ours.
Okay.
That doesn't mean she's not unhappy.
Sure.
You know, but I want to try to fix the situation. I wasn't going to re-edit it. The argument was, well, yes, we saw your whole portfolio, but how are we supposed to know that's not exactly how it looked the day?
Yeah. See, my thing is, you know, I look at it a little bit differently.
Okay.
So I personally do think the customer is always right, but it doesn't mean that they're going to get their way, right? I think it's so important. Like, for example, if you go to Omega, right? Or if you go to Rolex and you try to buy a watch and then you go home and you realize you don't like the watch or something's wrong with it. And you go back to these retailers and you're like, I'm so unhappy with this purchase and this and that, even though they probably sold you a really good watch that was perfect, but you don't like something about it. So in your head, you're like, I'm right? You're never going to go back there being like, okay, maybe Omega is okay or Rolex, you know, I'll give them the pass. But you're going into like, I'm fucking right and I either want my money back or I want you guys to fix this, right?
Yes, but I don't know if that applies in an artistic sense. Like if someone came to me.
But it's a business, it's a product.
True, but like if you go to Omega, you can give that watch back and say, you know what, I kind of decided this one's not for me. I don't like how it looks on me. Sure, we'll take it back.
Okay.
If you come to me after I've shot and edited your gallery and be like, I changed my mind, I don't like your style. I'd like my money back. You know what I mean?
But is there anything that says that they can't do that?
Oh, they can certainly ask, but I'm not going to do it.
And then they can go into litigation, right? Because I've seen that happen to photographers.
Sure. Our contract will protect us from.
You think
if
so?
You come back and say, you know what? I know I hired you. I know I signed this contract, but I changed my mind. I don't like these photos. I want my money back. Yeah, you're not winning that. Like, no, contractually, you're not going to win that argument. Yeah. But I know that in the back of my head, but also like, I don't want this client to be unhappy. Of course. Honestly, these were people I didn't think were going to go leave us a bad review either. It was just, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
So like, I think that the lesson that we learned is that no matter how much we think people know about our process, I think the most important thing is making sure that
they really know.
And again, early on in our career, it's one of those, you know, we were talking to Nick about it last week, like what's a mistake you made that you'll never make again? And that was one of ours. And just assuming people understood.
And bro, for me, that's why like, even if I have an associate or if I have a client that just wants to hire me just for the wedding, I make it like super, super apparent that we need to do an engagement session. Like you need to see how I work. You need to see how my edits look. Yeah. Otherwise, like you said, that's the kind of issue that you might run into on a wedding day.
We I think have always done a free engagement session with our couples. And it's a selfish reason. It's that.
Yeah.
We want to meet you in person. We need you to have expectations of how we work.
So for any couples that are listening, definitely take that free engagement session that your photographer offers you and get a chance to like work with them.
Or if they don't offer a free engagement session, book them for an engagement session.
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple $100, but it'll be worth it.
And you get great pictures of it.
Exactly.
But on those same lines, I have a question for you. It's not a hot button topic, but how much retouching are you willing to do on your client's images? So like if you got feedback from a client asking if you could change certain things about how they look.
It depends, bro. I feel like if I notice that the bride on her wedding day, even though she's had a full beat of makeup, looks good, but she still has small blemishes, I will do it, not in every photo, but like portraits that are up close where you can see
Totally.
a lot of those blemishes, I will definitely do that. But like if it's a portrait of the bride and the groom, or bride and bride, whatever the case is, further away, like let's say shot at like a 35 millimeter full body, unless someone is super zooming into that photo, they're not going to see the blemishes. But if it's an up close photo, like a 55 millimeter shot or 85 millimeter where you can see everything, I will definitely retouch those photos because I just know that they're not going to like it.
When you say retouch, you're talking about getting rid of blemishes, maybe a little skin
soften
smoothing
the
and stuff
skin
like
a little
that.
bit.
Okay. Because I think there's a misnomer in this world of what photoshopping is.
Right. So I think photoshopping to me is the more like intrusive, like things that are in photos that you want to get out.
I think, the term is has turned into something else.
Right.
But my hard and fast rule of thumb is that I will not do anything that will alter someone's appearance.
But that's very vague though.
So what I mean by that is I will get rid of anything that is on your face or on your body that is not normally there. Blemish, Band-Aid, cut, something that like, fun fact, I had 11 stitches in my forehead 3 months before my wedding.
Yeah.
So.
And what's tough too though is like, it's a fine line with blemishes because it could be a fucking pimple, but it could actually be a mole at the same time. And then you remove the mole and then someone comes back and be like, wait, why are all the moles removed from my face? I love that mole.
And that's another. So like anything that I know is like that, I won't take out. But
it's tricky.
When I say I won't change someone's appearance, like I'm not going to change your weight. I'm not going to change how your arms look. And
but that's like where you just said falls into place with like Photoshop and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is not something I do. There are tons of reasons for it, but it's just not something I will ever do.
Yeah. And actually I've never had a client say they wanted something like that.
I have.
Make my arms skinnier or make my stomach skinnier?
Not directly those things, but I have been asked to sort of further edit some stuff. And when I asked for clarification, they said reshaping.
Ooh.
And that's just, and I explained that's not something to do. And there's like the main reason I don't do that is because, once you go down that slippery slope, what happens?
Keep going.
What happens? What happens if you, and this was something, early I've seen people do when they're just starting out, is, this person is a little overweight. And I want to make them look great. Yeah. So they'll do a little something,
Yeah, it's not even worth going down that slope.
Right. But like, what if you deliver that, that first of all, like the body image problem in this country, the world is insane. It's terrible.
Sure.
And if you are a bride who felt beautiful on your wedding day and you get it back and you can see like, oh, this photographer like made me skinnier. Like
exactly. I agree.
It's like, that's just like a slap in the face. I feel like.
So
that's something I won't do. And I only bring that up because like, that has been something I've been asked to do. And
I even have that in my contract too. I state that, I do light retouching, but I will not, like you just said, I will not do reshaping, that stuff.
We have that too. And I find that people sometimes just don't read contracts and I can't do anything about that. But also like, sometimes people don't care that that's in your contract.
Yeah,
like, can you just like this one photo or like, I get it from
it's never just one. It's
never and I always get this too. And I'm sure you've heard it too. Like, moms, while they're getting a picture, they're like, you can fix this, right? Like, or like show me something. And I'm like,
but they always forget about it too. Well, They always forget about it. They're just maybe trying to be funny in the moment, but
sometimes. And I joke too. They're like, you can fix this. I'm like, well, I could. No, but I just think there's a certain moral compass around any of that.
And plus, I mean, it's good judgment too, right? Like if you look at a photo, you're like, okay, let me fix this a little bit. You just make the judgment in the moment and fix it.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't want to set standards for anyone, especially when it comes to body positivity, body image stuff. Like it's just something I'm not going to touch. And, that's my stand on that.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. I have so much more I want to tell you, but I kind of want to wait till the next episode because I do have a small update on what we were talking about. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
In terms of, being scammed in the industry and the Washington Post article.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, man. So that I'm going to save that for next week. But it's crazy. Just bro, I just don't. Let me just touch on it like slightly. So
Yeah,
I don't
Preview.
understand. Yeah, I just don't understand because kind of like how you just mentioned before, you don't really want bad reviews on your business and things like that. But this person did not give a two shits about her business, her name, her reputation. It's completely destroyed.
She kept changing it, right? Didn't she?
Yeah, she changed her name and just continued to operate under different business names. And it's just mind blowing to me that yes, this can affect your business, but it can also affect your personal life as well. Like all the friends you made in the industry, all the friends you made in general, like maybe related to your business or not, see how you operate and how you treat people. Bro, this can completely just ruin your life in general.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
like, let's say you don't want to be a business owner, you want to go into the corporate world. Everyone is tapped in some sort, in some way, right? Like the other day, the other day I was literally fucking at the gym and someone recognized me from the podcast. Meanwhile, we had like 12 views on the last episode.
Just saying, Ant texted me panicking 2 days ago. He's like, all right, we gotta do this. We only got 12 views. I'm like, is that low for us? Like, I don't, I feel like so many people are just watching like the social clips, which is fine.
Yeah, bro, our engagement on Instagram is great.
Yeah.
And, TikTok, whatever. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that next week, I guess.
I like it.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Yes.
Time for the hot button topic.
What you got?
You ready? I'm going to ask you one.
Let me see it.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to throw a twist at you.
Okay.
Instead of just a hot button topic.
Okay.
You know how we used to do, or still do, Dear Couples?
Ooh, I love that segment. Why did we stop doing that?
We're going to keep doing it.
Okay.
But I have a new one for you.
Uh-oh.
And we are going to do...
Dear Anthony.
Dear Anthony.
Go home.
Stop fucking with my set all the time. No, I want to do Dear Venues.
Ooh.
I'm
This is a little controversial.
I know.
You know I like controversy.
So I think I'm going to throw something out into the ether of Dear Venues.
The ether.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know. And then...
Tread lightly,
maybe,
my friend.
Right. And then maybe you'll get heated enough that you can throw out a Dear Venue. Okay.
What is it?
Dear Venues.
Do you think people care that you look in the camera?
Yeah, because I cut to it. Let's try again. Maybe I'll add a sound effect.
Do it again.
Dear vendors. Dear Venues. I guess I could add that sound effect later instead of going...
Boomers in the wild.
This fucker's older than me and he's trying to tell me shit. Dear,
See?
you
Boomers
fucked me
in the
up.
wild.
You stop yourself every 3 takes to fucking do something. Dear Venues, I think that you should kindly reconsider your client experience surrounding their own wedding.
Oh my God, so politically correct.
It's about to be less politically correct. Hey, maybe don't give couples tours of your venue in the middle of other people's weddings.
Wait, I've experienced that before.
And I get the plan.
It's weird.
I get the idea, but here's the problem.
How do you get that? That's not a good idea. It's horrible.
Well, if the reception space is set up, but no one's in there, it's like just set for this couple to come in a couple hours. Like, oh, cool. This people who might want to can see it. I agree.
I just spent $75,000 for this entire space.
Get out.
Get out.
Yeah.
No one but my family and friends should be in here.
You know what's even worse than that?
What?
When a couple is doing their private vows.
Stop.
And then you have someone come in to show a couple this property and don't read the room and continue to just walk around.
I wonder who gives the okay on something like that.
It's just idiots, man.
Like,
There's just
that
people
can't
who
be-
just are idiots.
Because I know if that happened at my wedding, my family, oh my God, bro, they would throw a fucking tantrum.
Ready
They'd
for
be
this
pissed.
one? So I shot a wedding a few years ago, and we were doing family photos in the ceremony area, which was inside because the weather was not cooperating.
Okay.
Dude, the wedding coordinator and the entire bridal party for the wedding the following day came
Showed
in
up.
and started doing their ceremony rehearsal.
What?
Like walking past me, standing in the aisle, taking family photos. They're
But
like,
what's weird is like they
we'll be
do-
out of your way in 1 sec. We'll be out of your way in 1 sec. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
But what's I don't understand is, yeah, you'll do that the day before, but you still do the same thing on the day of. You still do another rehearsal.
It was insane to me.
Why?
I don't understand. Like that. Or here's another good one. Have you ever worked at one of those like wedding factories that has like 3 weddings going on?
Sure.
This has happened 2 or 3 times to me. We'll be, in one of the
I think I know where you're talking
middle
about.
area like ceremony spots, and the wedding 100 yards to the left.
Okay.
Finishes their ceremony and immediately starts their cocktail hour outside with music playing, like speakers.
That's weird.
It's not like, oh, I can kind of tell.
Does the venue rhyme with schmarmany schmarms?
That's one of them.
Oh, okay.
There's more, but it's sort of like it's loud enough that it's not just sort of like, oh, I think they're having their cocktail hour.
Yeah.
It's just like, can you turn Jay-Z down? Jesus Christ!
I don't understand that. Again, if I'm paying all this goddamn money for this space, this is why you know what? I wonder if couples that book venues like that have 3 weddings going on in a day, like, are they actually aware of like what it actually entails?
And if they are aware, they have no idea that, like, oh, by the way,
this can actually happen.
This could happen. You could be having a nice quiet ceremony and maybe there's a violin playing and a fucking DJ a football field away. It's insane. Man. And every time it happens, I go, is this? And you always see the look on the couple's face, like, what's going on? Like, they don't know.
They look annoyed.
Yeah. And every time something like that happens, I ask the couple and they're like,
Did you know
we
about
didn't
this?
know. I would be so fucking livid at all that. So, dear venues, cut that fucking shit out, please. Thank you.
Wait, what was the other thing you wanted to talk about?
I feel like
you
can tell I'm a little passionate about that. It's not, I don't like dwell on it all the time.
Bro, you're not the only one. I just feel like people don't step up and say anything, but you're not the only one.
I was at one wedding where the mother of the groom and the mother of the bride definitely said something. I was like, get him. Because like, it doesn't make any sense for us to do it.
Yeah. So wait, what's that second thing you want to talk about?
Well, I feel like I'm passionate about this.
Okay.
And I feel like there's some hate in your heart somewhere.
Oh, okay.
If you have hate, let it out.
I don't hate anybody.
But I think we always like text each other when like shitty things happen at weddings. Like, bro, you're not going to believe this. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure you could think of something that annoys you in the.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I hate this, but I definitely, if we're talking about dear venues, I think it's also so important. And I feel like a lot of photographers and videographers would agree about this. So I feel like a lot of venues are renovating nowadays, and there are also a lot of new venues coming into this space. So all of you venues out there that are trying to renovate or come into the space, consider hiring a photographer as a consultant of your space. So what that means is having a photographer who's established, who has worked around the city, has worked in different lighting environments, different situations in general, come in, tour your space and be like, hey, I think maybe you can make a change for this or change for that. So that way the client can enjoy the photos better, or the lighting in this space can look better, or you know what? Maybe the way the ceiling is structured or whatever TVs you put on the wall can be situated in a different way. Like there's just different ways that you can come in as a photographer and give your advice.
So like maybe, hey guys, if you build this whole ceremony space facing this way from the months of, September through December, the time people are going to have their ceremonies, the sun is going to be directly behind them, blinding every single guest.
Exactly.
Maybe we could rotate this way, and then you'll get a nice
few feet.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that venues, when renovating or building, like should consider.
100%.
They just don't.
They don't.
Because look how pretty this is going to look. Like, you're going to have no pictures of it between these times because it's going to be. Or unless it's terrible weather, then you get some great like rainy overcast pictures if you can't see the sun.
And that's another good point too, is I feel like every venue should have some type of like fail safe. For example, if it's going to rain, if it's going to be shitty weather, there should be a designated space in that venue that is super pretty. That way the photographer can use and take photos of the clients without having to go outside.
Our first wedding we ever did before we were really even a company was basically pouring rain, 0 indoor option.
Exactly.
You had to get creative, but there are so many spaces like that. That's such a good point. There are so many spaces that are so gorgeous outside with maybe there's like an oh shit plan, but it's not nice. And it's basically a couple booking and then stressing the fuck out, going, it has to not rain on my wedding day.
And not only that, bro, like venues need to understand that that there are so many different levels of photographers, and every photographer has different experience. So you and I, we could probably makeshift a conference room and turn it into something beautiful, right? Versus another photographer, you throw them in a conference room and they're just stuck. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to, make this look elegant and work with what they got. Right. So yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, but I just that's what I think about when it comes to.
It's funny. Well, no, it's funny because when Maggie and I were getting married, we were not in the wedding industry at all. But I remember picking our venue, making sure that like it had an awesome, not just like a decent indoor option, like it had an awesome indoor option, which we ended up having to use. So,
and that's too, like clients don't even think about that. Yeah. You have to,
or they're not being educated in the fact that like, hey, totally hope that it doesn't rain on your wedding day, but you have to consider that a real possibility, or you're going to be really sad if it happens.
Right.
So
yeah, rain backup plans are a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our segment of dear venues. Maybe next time we can do dear caterers.
No, I'm not doing that.
By the way, dear Finley Catering.
No,
Finley
don't
Catering.
do it. No,
it's a good thing.
It's
a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm shouting it out. Dear Finley Catering, whatever changes you recently made to your mozzarella sticks. Wait, I probably ate 30 of them at the last wedding. Whatever changes you made to those mozzarella sticks, keep fucking doing it. They're fucking delicious.
On that note, let's go make some mozzarella sticks.
I just got so hungry.
Yeah, this was a good episode. All right, guys. Peace.
No, don't talk about Finley.
Bring the giants out. Bring the giants out. Bring the giants out.